Good day, everyone. My name is Ivan, and today we will learn about friction. So, what is friction? Friction is a contact force. It is a force that exists when one surface slashes over another. It is affected by the irregularities in the surface of two objects in contact during sliding or rolling. Friction resists motion. What if an object slides? When an object slides on the surface of another, friction is created. The wheels of a car rubs against the irregular surface of the road, creating friction. The force of friction always is opposite to the direction of motion. When you push an object to the left, the direction of the friction force is to the right. Friction slows down a moving object or prevents an object from moving. Science trivia. Friction can generate static electricity. Static electricity is formed when two objects are rubbed together, causing the electrons to move from one object to another. What if you push a book? When you push a book on top of a table, there is friction too. Friction prevents the book from moving immediately or continuously. Continuously when you walk. The surface of friction enables you to run and walk on a pavement. It is the reason why you do not sleep on the floor. Friction occurs in our daily activities. There is friction when you comb your hair, sweep the floor, drag a chair, cut pieces of paper, or sharpen pencil. Friction produces heat. Rub your palms together. When does it feel? When you rub a matchstick against the surface, heat and light are produced. However, too much friction can produce too much heat too. When you walk a lot, the soles of your shoes rub against the rough surface a lot too, eventually causing a tear or a hole on the sole. Friction detects motion. Imagine a moving car on rough road and a moving car on a cemented highway. Friction. Thus, the car will move slower on it than on a cemented highway. Smooth surfaces provide less friction than rough surfaces, which is why objects move faster on smooth surfaces. A hockey puck will travel more smoothly on ice than on pavement. A metal wheel will roll faster on a railway than on a rough road. You will slide more easily on a wax floor than on a rough floor. Thus, a moving object will travel faster on a smooth surfaces and slower on the sole. There are two types of friction. One is static friction. How is a table to stand on its legs and not slide? Do you think there is friction involved? Static friction is present between the legs of the table and the surface of the ground. It keeps the table rest. Try to push it. Does it move? To move the to move the table, a force that is greater than the maximum possible static friction must be applied. If static friction is not overcome, no motion is produced and the stationary object will remain at rest. There are and now we will learn about kinetic. If the force of friction is overcome, the table will move. This time it will be acted upon by kinetic friction. Kinetic friction is resistive, it slows down a moving object. These are the difference. This one is the static friction and this one is the kinetic friction. Kinetic friction can be sliding, rolling, or air friction. When you continue to push the table and it slides, then sliding friction is produced. Sliding friction acts on dry solid objects sliding on a surface. when you attach wheels to the table to move it more easily. Then another type of kinetic friction takes over. Rolling friction slows down motion of the wheels on the solid surface. Rolling friction is weaker than sliding friction and static friction. This is why most forms of transportation, such as bicycles, cars, or skateboards, use wheels. Air friction. Air friction acts on a object that is falling or moving through the air. When you are walking or running from a tree, the surface of the leaf comes in contact high speed. You notice air resistance when a leaf with air particles. Friction between the leaf and the air particles occurs. The upward force of the air slows down the fall of the leaf. When the air friction is equal to the gravita- gravitational force pulling down the leaf, the leaf will no longer accelerate and will fall at constant speed. Air friction is affected by the surface area of the falling object. A falling object with a wider surface area will come in contact with a greater number of air particles. Thus, it encounters greater air friction. Now we will talk about increasing and decreasing friction. What are the difference? What are the ways to increase the friction? How can you decrease friction? Friction may be increasing through the roughness of the surface. Pebbles are placed on the roads and pavements to increase the friction between the tires and the road. This will help motorists motorists decrease their speed in areas where they need to slow down. Rubber sheets are used as grips in tennis rackets to prevent the handle from slipping. A piece of cloth is wrapped on a stock cap to help you open the bottle more easily. You grip harder on railing to avoid slipping on an angled floor. The soles of your shoes have tractions to prevent your shoes from sliding. Friction may be decreased by making the surface smooth, applying lubricants such as wax and oils lessen friction. Wax is used on a rough floor so that objects may glide easily on it. Oils are used as lubricants in machinery to decrease the noise it produces when running. The use of wheels or rollers can also help reduce friction. This is the quiz in science. Just write T if the statement is true and F if not. And number 10 is identification. This is the quiz. Thank you for listening, and that's all for today. Goodbye.